going in and out, like wins,
right.
losses.
We're live, Patrick. We're live. So, I know, it's all good. Well, as you can see, here we are. It is time to breathe again on the latest breath of fresh air Webcast, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So, got Patrick with me. You can hear him talk a little bit. You're going to hear him a little bit more as we go forward on this show.
Yeah, you are.
Join us. So, Patrick, let's start with the preview of the two conference championship games that will be coming up on Sunday. The winner of these games, of course, get to the Super Bowl, which is in Arizona, Glendale, Arizona, at the home of the Arizona Cardinals, but it is playing host to this year's Super Bowl. So, let's start on the NFC side. We have a 1 versus 2 matchup. So it's pretty much chalk on that side. The San Francisco 49ers coming off of their win. My team, of course. Let's go. We knocked the Dallas Cowboys out of the playoffs for the second year in a row. And don't worry, I will have something to say about the Cowboys. Well, basically, how they collapsed again. But whatever. It won't be as bad as y'all think. If y'all been watching this show, and y'all know how I feel about the Cowboys. But it won't be as bad. I promise you that. It'll be a big picture view. But they're gone. And the 49ers are advancing against the Philadelphia Eagles, who had an impressive win over the New York Giants, 38-7 in their game.
They were up 27-0 at one point, weren't they?
Yeah, it was 28-0 at halftime. So the Eagles are rolling. Speaking of them, Jalen Hurts looked good. We don't know how healthy he is, but he looked good in that game. Looked like he was doing everything that he would do normally, running the ball. He passed the ball well. He looks like he's ready to go. Miles Sanders was running the ball well. They have two good receivers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert catching the ball, and a defense that, like what we said last week, had 70 sacks in the regular season, and they were making life hell for Daniel Jones last week as well. For the Niners, very good defense, as you know. Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead and the boys rushing the ball. Fred Warner, ridiculous at the linebacker spot, running around all over the place. And then Dre Greenlaw also with them. And then a good secondary. Number 1 ranked defense in the league on offense. You know the story with Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, quickly proving that he is relevant. And weapons all over the place. George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, and Elijah Mitchell running the ball. So, looks like a loaded matchup, Patrick. I won't ask who you have winning, because if you guys have been watching the show, you already know that we have the 49ers going to the Super Bowl anyway. So, I'll just ask you, Patrick, what score do you have?
Dude, this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think the defenses are good for both of these teams. But high-powered offenses, bro. I mean, this is going to be one of those truly defenses wins, offense those tickets kind of thing. But I obviously, you know, I got the 49ers winning, obviously. But man, them Eagles look good. Those Eagles, that Eagles team looks good. We don't know what Jalen Hurts is really, his injury report really is, because I don't even think he got touched in the pocket in that game against the Giants. All he did was just throw, toss, and play catch. That's all he did. So the Eagles look really good, especially that offensive line. It looks really good. So I will say this: both teams have their hands full. It's going to be a great matchup. It's going to be a great game. I'm going to go. Obviously, I got San Francisco, but I'll go. Let's go 35-34.
1 point game, huh? All right.
Yeah, 1 point game.
So me, I have it lower scoring than that. I think these defenses are going to show up here. How much lower scoring? Not that much. I think it'll be in the 20s though. I have 49ers. I'm gonna go 20. Some crazy score. Let's go 20. Well, not too crazy. All right, 27-24. I was gonna say 26-23, but we'll go 27-24. I agree. I think it's gonna be down to the wire here because both of the teams, there's not too many weaknesses with either one of these squads. You have the Eagles. I guess if you're looking at the Eagles defense, they're vulnerable against the run if you're able to stick with it. So that means if you're 49ers, you're trying to stay within striking distance so you can keep running the football and keep that balance there. With the 49ers, they're not as strong against run because they're one of the top against the run. Or, excuse me, they're not as strong against the pass as they are against the run. So you might be able to throw the ball on them a little bit if you can get time against them. If you can block up that front seven, because that front seven for the Niners is nasty. So if you're able to block Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Ekbom, and some of these other guys that are going to be shuffled into the lineup on DeMeco Ryans' defense, then there might be plays that are there for A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert, and some of those receivers we were talking about earlier. So other than that, I mean, the offenses are stacked with weapons. The defenses are very good. I expect it to be pretty evenly matched there. Of course, people are waiting. They're waiting for Brock Purdy to have that rookie moment. You know what I'm talking about, Patrick. That rookie moment where it's just like, oh my God.
He had it.
Yeah, well,
he had it several times in that game.
They're waiting for him to
the rookie mistake
to fall apart. That's what I'm talking about. To fall apart. Not necessarily one of those moments where it's just like, because in that Dallas game, I agree with you. There were many moments in there where he could have just
that time when he threw that football away and it only had like 1 second on the clock, I kept going, you gotta do something. Do something. Do something. Right. Nothing. And then he finally threw it.
He had a brain fart. He had a little bit of a brain fart, and then he just kind of came to. But I mean, people are waiting for him just to completely collapse. And maybe this could be the moment. I don't know. I mean, it is on the road in Philadelphia. How does that environment, how does he deal with that environment? You know, those fans in Philly, some of the rowdiest fans that are out there in Philadelphia. But if the games before any indication, I think Brock Purdy will be fine. I'm confident in saying this. If the 49ers do lose today, which I don't think they will, and we don't think they will either, based off of what we have forecast for the season anyway, it won't be because of a Brock Purdy collapse. I think the Eagles will be that. The Eagles will have to take it there. I don't think Brock Purdy or the 49ers, for that matter, are just going to give it to him.
Well, and you know, people still have to understand it. Look, you can have a Brock Purdy meltdown, but the thing is you still have the number one defense. And I'm sorry, Brock Purdy doesn't play both sides of the football. You know what I mean? And this is where I always have the problem. I never understood these comments. I don't understand. Oh, Brock Purdy is probably going to have that rookie moment that cost the 49ers the game. Brock Purdy only plays quarterback. I mean, he can't go out and catch the football for every wide receiver. And don't get me wrong, he didn't make some of the best passes against Dallas. He just made enough passes. I mean, that one catch that Kettle made was phenomenal. And let's be completely honest about it. That was not the best pass Purdy had. He was throwing off of his front foot, and he did all arm strength. I mean, it was a great pass if you look at it from that quarterback standpoint and how he done everything. But I mean, he let Kettle had to reach for that one-handed juggling pass, and then still had to fall on it to get it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's not. He can have the collapse, but at the same time, I think the defense is strong enough. I think the defense is strong enough to make do. And on top of that, I sit here and watch. I went back and looked at some of these plays that Brock Purdy has made. Bro, he's made plenty of rookie mistakes, and that defense still held strong. That defense still did its job. That defense still stood up and said, if Brock's going to mess up, we'll carry the game on our back. And they did. So I'm not going to be – I don't like the fact that, oh, if Brock Purdy is going to lose, or if 49ers are going to lose, it's all going to be Brock. No, it's not. It's going to be a team effort. That's the reason why you put 11 on one side and 11 on the other. It's going to be a team effort, and Philly is going to have to earn it. Regardless of what Brock Purdy does, Philly's going to earn it. If they win, Philly will earn it.
So, Patrick, I agree with you, but I will say this. If you're going to use that team effort argument, then that's got to apply for all of the teams that are involved in these situations. You know that's not the case a lot of times because, and look, we're going to talk about a couple. We're going to talk about a couple later on.
Now, don't get me wrong. Brock Purdy has to do his part. I will be completely transparent about that. He has to do his part. He can't go out there and have 9 interceptions and 8 of them pick sixes. You know what I'm saying? Yes, then that's a total meltdown and Brock Purdy lost that game. Nobody does.
Well, all right, man. Well, hey, we both got the 49ers winning. Like I said, we'll get to those cases in a minute. I mean, I'm just saying, I think it's a case-by-case basis. And all I'm saying is I don't think Brock Purdy will be the reason. Like, everybody is kind of waiting on. I don't think he'll be the reason why they lose. If they lose, I don't think they'll lose. So, and you don't either. So, let's get to the AFC Championship game, and you have the Cincinnati Bengals going against the Kansas City Chiefs. This game will be in Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Look, the Cincinnati Bengals, they walloped, just dominated the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, mind you, 27-10. Ran the ball well. Joe Mixon ran the ball. He ran the ball better than any time I can remember Joe Mixon running the ball. And this is behind a makeshift offensive line. And Joe Mixon has had some good games, don't get me wrong, but he looked really good. He looked physical, he looked fast. He looked good. Joe Burrow did his thing. And on defense, they made life hell for Josh Allen. And so there goes our pick in the AFC. Because we have the Bills going to the Super Bowl in the AFC. But they are out. They're gone. And Cincinnati is they're continuing to announce, hey, we're here. We are a problem. And it's time that people look at them as such. And why shouldn't they feel that way? They are the defending AFC champs. And this is a good team. And this is something you and I have been saying all along.
Yeah. And to be completely transparent about this, we struggled. Both me and you struggled with Buffalo and Cincinnati being, if we were going to go that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were going to pick Buffalo because it was our pick, but we knew if there was a team that could beat them, then yeah, it was Cincinnati. And so Cincinnati did it. As far as Kansas City goes, they're in their fifth straight AFC Championship game, and they're hosting their fifth straight AFC Championship game. We know what they're bringing: Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Eric Bieniemy calling the plays. They have a good offense. Travis Kelce catching everything. The receivers have been more by committee, more so than they have been in previous years. You knew they had Tyreek Hill, but Marcus Valdez-Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster to get Kadarius Toney. We've done a good job of filling in. The question with Kansas City is their defense a little bit better? They have played a little bit better, but maybe a little bit left to be desired. So, with that being said, Patrick, who do you have winning this game?
Well, this is going to be a good game. But I would say, if I was to pick out a question, is I'm curious about Patrick Mahomes' ankles. That was quite a high ankle sprain, and that we saw in the last game. So I have questions about both the defense for Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes' ankles. Man, is he going to be able to do what Patrick Mahomes does? We both know that if he gets cleared, he's playing. Period. We know that
he's playing.
I mean, we saw that. He's playing. I mean, there's no hiding it. To be honest with you, there is no hiding. With that being said, though, I have to go with my consolation team, man. My consolation team was Cincinnati, and I was going back and forth with who I was going to pick. So I'm gonna go Cincinnati. I think that they can. I think that they can handle it. I'm gonna go Cincinnati 30-17.
So Cincinnati to me, look. Full disclosure, I was going to pick Cincinnati anyway. I don't care. Look, people are going to say, oh, well, look at Patrick Mahomes' ankle. It's a little bit banged up. Didn't look good. And it didn't. It didn't look good. That looked like a pretty nasty ankle sprain. But Cincinnati has already beaten Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs when they were healthy 3 times in a row. So, to me, that part of the equation,
it's kind of solidifies
it. Yeah, it wasn't even in my thought pattern, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people are going to have it on their thought pattern because it is Patrick Mahomes we're talking about, and he has been a great quarterback since he's been a starter. I understand it, get it. But Cincinnati, number one, they ain't scared. Number two, they have beaten Kansas City 3 times in a row with a healthy Patrick Mahomes. 2 of those times with Tyreek Hill on the team. So
in Kansas City.
Yeah, they won the AFC Championship game in Kansas City last year. So to me, I think Cincinnati, they have an edge, and I can't say enough. Okay, they have an edge from the standpoint of they feel disrespected. And I don't care what the odds makers are saying now. I've seen odds that say Cincinnati is favored to win this game now. I don't care what those odds say. I don't care. Because Cincinnati has been disrespected all year. All year they've been disrespected. All year they've been hearing, last year was a fluke. Last year they weren't supposed to be there. They started off 0-2. People were throwing dirt on them because they were 0-2 starting off this year, and all they've done is rattle off. I have to check the winning streak. I think they've won 10 straight games now, or maybe just 9 straight games now, 9 or 10. But I mean, the only team that's been hotter than them are the 49ers.
You said Cincinnati?
Huh?
Cincinnati has won 9 in a row?
9 or 10. You can check it.
I think it's 10, but San Francisco was 113.
So yeah. So what the 49ers have won
13.
Yeah. Actually it is. No. It's 12. It's 12. Because they started their winning streak at 3-4. And they won 10 in a row in the regular season. They won the last 10 games in the regular season, and then they've won 2. So they're at 12. But still, huge winning streaks. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, both of the teams are high. And Cincinnati has been rolling out since they lost to Cleveland on Halloween night. They lost to Cleveland, and they haven't lost since. And so both of these teams are rolling. And Cincinnati, again, they've been hearing all the talk about how they weren't supposed to be there last year. Like I pointed out, they weren't supposed to be in the Super Bowl last year.
Cincinnati 10.
Okay, cool. So they haven't. They're not supposed to be there. As a matter of fact, looking at this just last week, you remember the news that came out about the ticket sales for a supposed Kansas City Buffalo AFC Championship game that would have taken place in Atlanta if both of those teams advanced, and there was, I think, 50,000 tickets that were sold for it. Look, Joe Burrow Leave it up to him to be keeping those receipts. As in that interview with Tracy Wolfson on CBS, she asked him about that. He said, "Hold on, you're tell them to get those refunds, right?" You know, I love it. I love everything.
I like Joe Burrow, man.
He
I like
is
Joe Burrow.
awesome.
Because I mean that's something we would say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, how do you feel about that? Get them receipts ready. Get ready to get your refund.
So to me, Patrick, I know what you're saying about the ankle, and yes, that is a factor with Patrick Mahomes. But to me, look,
I would have picked them. I would have picked Cincinnati too.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Patrick Mahomes has a sore ankle, that's just like a cherry on top. I mean, to me, that's just meat in a piranha freaking tank. That's all that is. And I will tell you, no disrespect to Patrick Mahomes, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt again. But let me tell you, if I'm defensive coordinator, I'm blitzing.
Yeah, got to come after
100%. And I tell my guys, I'd be like, be ready, because when I call your number, you're blitzing. And I will tell you, if they hold the ball 97 times for 97 plays or 110 plays, you best believe for 97 plays, we're blitzing. For 110 plays, we're blitzing. That's the game plan. Until they take him out and put Henny in, we're blitzing. And even if they put Henny in, guess what? We're blitzing.
So yeah, man. Look, I didn't get the score. To me, I think it'll still be pretty close. I got Cincinnati winning. I'll go 27-20. Yeah, I think 27-20 would be a good score there. What do you have? 30-17?
30-17.
All right. Yeah, I got 27-20. And like I said, Kansas City will still show up and stuff. And I think Patrick Mahomes will be able to do enough in terms of maybe a quicker passing game. I don't see him doing what he normally does in terms of trying to escape the pocket and making those plays, throwing from whatever arm angle there is. But I think they'll have a game plan to try to get the ball out of his hands quick, and that'll be enough to sustain. But I just think Cincinnati is the better team at this point. So, let's move on, Patrick, with throwing a lot of people. We haven't done the STFU club lately, so I'm going to throw some people in here, and I want to see how you're feeling. I'm throwing anybody, which that could be millions of people, whatever. Y'all can join some of the honorary.
7 million people in this world, we'll throw all of them.
Yeah. So I'm throwing anybody who is eating up the news of the referee crew being announced for the Super Bowl. I'm not even worried about the name of the referees. I don't care. Like, to me, that is completely irrelevant. But you know how people are. Oh, man, that referee, I don't know if he's good. Oh, that referee, he throws a lot of flags. He don't let them play. If you are in here worried about who the referees are going to be, you're worried about the wrong thing anyway. You're already looking for built-in excuses, especially if your teams happen to get into the Super Bowl. And I'm sure these are the same people who are trying to look at who the referee crews are for the championship games coming up. And they do that for any regular season game too. All y'all, STFU, all of y'all, welcome to the club. All right, so like I said, that's probably millions of people. I don't care. We'll throw them all in the club. All of them. Every single one of them.
I mean, to me, like when people ask me, it's like, what's your biggest concern when Georgia made it to the national championship? I was like, I don't have a concern right now. I think TCU is a good team, right? Okay. Because at the end of the day, yes, referees have to call a game. If they're not the ones you're hitting, not the ones you're having to worry about. They're not the ones that you have to tackle. They're not the ones throwing the football. They're just out there trying to call a fair game. Don't put it in the referee's hands to lose. Win the game. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Done.
Yep.
I don't worry about no freaking referee. I could care less. Make sure there's some out there. So that
of course.
It's a legit game. Other than that, crap.
Man. So yeah.
Like you said, they're already built-in excuses, man. That's the reason why I teach my kids right now. There's one life lesson I'm teaching my kids right now, and that's sports and life. It's one of the best ones I can teach. Right here. You ready? Play through the fouls.
Well, that's what we used to do when we were little.
Play through the fouls. And the great thing about that is life is going to do this to you. So life is going to hit you while you're down, because it doesn't matter if you break your leg, rent still do, power still do, phone bills still do. Guess what? You got to play through the fouls. Play through the fouls.
Yep.
If as long as you're not whining and complaining, you still stand a chance. Get out there and play.
Yep, absolutely, man. So
sorry, but I like it. Everybody in there that's complaining about the refs, shut the up.
Yeah, STFU club.
Done.
They're all million of y'all, however many it is. I don't care. Well, yeah, all of y'all in there.
I can't believe you.
Right there.
Jesus, even the Hall of Fame doesn't even get that big. You nominate everybody all at once. I like how you do that. We only have a select few, and I think LeBron James has been in there for I think he's number one. I think he's president right now.
I mean, you think between him and Baker Mayfield and Aaron Rodgers over his crying stuff, and whoever's crying,
whoever's crying, God.
Yeah.
Now, here we are. We had a select few of 20 people that was in this club, and leave it up to Charles to start dishing. Here.
We're gonna get our Oprah on.
Everybody get a voucher.
We're gonna get our Oprah on. You get a car. So instead, it's you get an invitation to the STFU club, and you get an invitation.
Oh, man.
Everybody gets an invitation.
You're Oprah. You're Oprah. We're gonna call you Charles and Oprah. Chopra. We're gonna call you Chopra from now on.
Yeah. It's funny. The next entertainment couple there, what you got? You got Jennifer and Brangelina, and then Chopra. I'm all about it.
I'm gonna start calling you Chopra every time the STUF club comes out, and Chopra's here.
Oh man.
Check out your seat. STUF club.
Yeah.
STFU club, whatever it is.
STFU club.
Congratulations.
Hey, you already know, man. Hey, STF up. Yeah. Or shut the F up. There we go. All right, hey, let's talk about a couple of these teams. That are going home. Let's start with the Buffalo Bills, man, because this was a season that had high expectations. They were the betting favorite to get to the Super Bowl this year and win the Super Bowl this year. Yep. And they didn't even make it to the championship game. Instead, as we mentioned earlier, got housed at home by the Cincinnati Bengals. So if you're the Bills, you have a good roster. You have people who can do stuff. You have receivers. Obviously, you have the quarterback in Josh Allen. If you're looking at the defense, though, and really the mentality of the Bills, they got pushed around. Cincinnati pushed them around. And we know with Buffalo, if there has been a weak area, it's the fact Josh Allen probably runs the ball too much. We know how big he is. We know he's 6'5", 240, 250. Big dude. But he can't be the primary means of your running game. You have Devin Singletary there. You drafted James Cook out of Georgia. I think the play calling could have helped Josh Allen out a little bit more. If you have these running backs, you need to run them. And that offensive line, I think they have become so used to pass blocking. They got a little bit soft, man. I remember we were talking about that with the Bills last year, about how they were not physical enough at the point of attack. And then when they play teams like Cincinnati this year, that could come back to bite them. And it did in a hurry. And I know they were missing Von Miller, who they wanted to get to rush the passer and give them that finisher on the defensive side to rush the passer. But what I think happened, Patrick, is sometimes you have teams you can't beat if you haven't been able to get over the hump when it's really, really needed. For Buffalo, Kansas City was that team. And you go and you get Von Miller to get a guy who can finish, who can sack Patrick Mahomes in those situations. Apparently, they forgot about Cincinnati, and Cincinnati pushed them around. Yep. And I don't think Von Miller would have did much to make a difference there because they were running the ball at them. So if you're Buffalo, what do you have to do here? Is it mentality? Is it adjustments? What?
So this is my personal opinion. I got to thinking about this because crazy enough, I kind of had a feeling you were going to ask this question. It's literally being and knowing you for as long as each other 15, 16 years. All right. So knowing you and the things that you ask, I kind of had a feeling you were going to ask this question eventually. I've actually been kind of thinking about this. Mm-hmm. And this is my thing is I think they got the personnel. I really do. I think they got the personnel on the field to do the job. I do think it's a mentality thing, but I think it starts at the defensive coordinator. I would probably fire my defensive coordinator and go and get a physical defensive coordinator. Somebody that looks at the team and says, okay, because they have the personnel. These people, I mean, when you look on the offense, we've watched most of these people in college. Every one of them have the ability to do exactly what they need to do to win a championship. Some of them have championship pedigrees already. So when I look at this Buffalo team, stacked top to bottom, they're really good. We wouldn't have picked them if we didn't think they were. But that mentality, like you said, Josh Allen being your number one running back, you can't have that when you got the two that you have that are championship pedigree running backs. Give the ball to them. And I think that they get this conception is that, oh, we got to put the game on Josh Allen's back. Well, okay, you can put the game on his back and still give it to other people to make the plays. We've seen it time and time again in college that these kids are ready for the moment. You just got to give them the time. Well, these guys are ready for that moment. You just got to give them the mentality and the time that gives them the ability to do what you're expecting them to do. I think it starts at the coaching. My personal opinion, I say you run this team back, you go get you a defensive coordinator, and you run it back and see what happened. I feel you'll see a different outcome.
You get an offensive coordinator too, because the thing is, Patrick,
if you're running Josh Allen as your number one running back and he's your quarterback, and you got Cook and who's the other guy?
Devin Singletary.
So you got Singletary, who is a really freaking good running back anyway, and Cook, I know he's a good running back. I've watched him for 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm sitting here looking at this, you get a new offensive coordinator, you get a new defensive coordinator, you run that same exact team, I guarantee you get a different outcome. Cincinnati doesn't come into Buffalo and beat you. Not like that. If you lose, then Cincinnati is ultimately the better team. But when I look at this on paper, no disrespect to that Cincinnati team at all. That is a fantastic team. They've proved it time and time again. They've worked really hard, but they're a much more physical team than Buffalo was.
On both sides.
Both sides.
And that's why I say, like, with the offensive line, if you're used to pass blocking, when it comes time to run the football, you don't, like you said, the mentality is not there for you to run block. Now, offensive linemen, they would much rather run block than pass block because they're on the attack.
Yeah.
They're on the attack. And so Cincinnati, on both sides.
It was completely more physical.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. I mean, I agree with you, man. I do think it is mentality, more so mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that starts with the coaching coming in and saying, we're not doing it this way. We're going to do it this way. And I guarantee you, Cincinnati still may come in and beat you, but it ain't going to be like that.
Yeah, that was physical domination.
That was physical domination.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in quite some time in the NFL. That was complete, ultimate domination of a team saying, you are my, yeah. So I think it starts at the coaching. You bring two coaches in that has a more physical mentality, Cincinnati may beat you. But I guarantee you it won't be no 27-10. It'll be like 27-24, or you might win. That's the difference. There's the difference, and I think it starts with coaching.
All right, Patrick. Well, that's the rundown with the Bills. They said, I mean, shocking into us because, I mean, obviously we had them both going to the Super Bowl, and they're not going. Another team that's not going.
You love this part. This is what you've been waiting on. You're like 36, 33. This has been what I've been waiting for right here.
So, look, Patrick, here's the thing with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this was a crash and burn, yes. But it wasn't, it didn't have the feel of a spectacular crash and burn. Now, look, a crash and burn is a crash and burn. But with Dallas, it just seems like
normally they just run off the heel.
Yeah, like
they glided in.
In most years, it is. I mean, it is ugly. I mean, it is. We have no fight in us. We're just gonna take this crash. Like this year, looking at the game, and this is coming against my team, the San Francisco 49ers, the final score was 19-12. So what that tells me about the game, number one, give credit to Dallas's defense. Now, if you're gonna take off the bias goggles, the bias glasses everybody wants to look at things from. Y'all know me. I can't stand the Cowboys. I live in Dallas-Fort Worth and can't stand the Cowboys. But if we're going to take the bias glasses off and look at it from an objective point of view, the defense balled. Their defense balled in that game. That 49ers offense
into the fourth quarter.
That 49ers offense, with Brock Purdy in there, has been 30 points or over in pretty much every game, except for the game at Seattle, where they scored 21 points. Other than that, they have scored 30 points in every single one of those games that they have played. 30 points or over in every single one of those games. And that Dallas defense came and they played. They got after the 49ers a little bit, got some sacks on Brock Purdy, did a good job against Deebo Samuel, against Christian McCaffrey. George Kittle started getting loose, but overall, look, the Cowboys played a good game on defense. So, like you were saying earlier, Patrick, to your point earlier about the 49ers, and with this being complimentary football, well, now that brings you to Dak Prescott, and it is time for the Cowboys to realize. I feel like a broken record because I said this last year and years before, but it's time for them to realize Dak Prescott is not, I repeat, he is not the guy who is going to carry you to a Super Bowl. He cannot throw the ball 37 times or 40 times or any times over 35 times if you are going to win, because that is not going to turn out well. There's going to be hits. He's going to look lost. And that's exactly what happened in this game. The 49ers defense, number one defense. Anytime Dak Prescott has played against a good defense, he has struggled, if not struggled mightily. And that offense scored 12 points. Look, if you hold the 49ers, so just being honest, like we always are, but then, like, again, I'm gonna stop saying that one because we're always being honest. But if we're gonna go there, if you hold the 49ers to 19 points, that has to be a victory.
Yes.
That has to be a win, because you're not going to get many performances like that where the 49ers are held to 19 points. That is intended on the offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, who I think is not good anyway. Mike McCarthy, again, bad coaching on his part too, because they got out coached. That's the thing with Dallas that really hurts them more than anything else. They have a plan, it might work. And then when the team, like the 49ers did, when they said, we're just going to start running this ball up the middle. We're not having success with the outside runs, let's start mushing them up the middle. Let's get Eli Mitchell in there, let's pound them up the middle. Dallas does not adjust. They do not adjust. They have a plan, though it might work. If it stops working, they bang their heads up against the wall and continue to try to do the same thing, and they end up losing. And that's exactly what happened here. So those are the two things you got to realize. If you're Dallas, look, if you have to realize you need to get a better team around Dak Prescott if he's going to be the guy. You're already tied to him. You signed him for 4 years and $160 million. There's 2 years left on that deal. Chances are you are stuck with them. So you're going to have to figure something out. They have some cap issues that they're going to have to deal with. And unlike Buffalo, who I think Buffalo is still in a good situation, Dallas is not. They are not.
This is a team that you blow up. Unfortunately for Jerry Jones, you're going to have to spend some money, bruh, because this team is, look, they had a fantastic year.
Yeah, 12 wins.
I think what really was, and I hate saying this because you know how I feel about people getting injured. You know what I mean? You had a blessing in disguise when Dak went down with the sore thumb. Then you had another blessing in disguise when Ezekiel Elliott was out. I like I told you, I don't want to see either one of them injured. I would love for them to keep playing. But when Pollard came in, Dallas was moving the ball. They moved the ball in every team they played. Every team they played.
Yeah, more explosive.
And now you get Dak back. Then you get, not to be a lyrical poet or anything, you get Dak back. And then you get Elliott back. And then all of a sudden you go right back to what you were doing before. I mean, you were 5-1 in this position. Then you bring Dak back. He threw more interceptions this year than most people have in their entire lifetime, besides Jameis Winston. And he missed 5 games. He still threw more interceptions than most people, and he missed 5 games.
Yeah.
And then you still put him in thinking that you're going to throw 40 times, and you're not going to expect this guy to make mistakes. He makes mistakes all the time. To me, I'm sitting here looking at this team, and I'm like, they were such a good team offensively.
And real quick, Patrick, before you go on, Dak didn't used to be that way. I mean, Dak was not
explosive.
He was very careful with the ball.
He was very explosive. He took care of the ball, and then all of a sudden, like the past 3 years, just I don't know what hell happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I loved watching Dak when he was in college, man. Loved watching it. Mississippi State?
Yeah.
Loved watching him. He was such a good quarterback. He took care of the ball. And
his first 3 years with the Cowboys, he was doing.
His first 3 years with the Cowboys, nothing changed. I mean, he was just a fantastic quarterback. And then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, he might need to get some glasses. He might be a little colorblind because he's throwing it to the wrong jersey too many times. 15 interceptions in one season, and he missed 5 games. No, you can't have that. You can't have that. So that team needs to be blown up. Get everybody out. I mean, everything. everything. Jerry Jones just needs to go ahead and build another stadium and start over, start from scratch. Blow that whole shit up and start from scratch.
Language, Patrick, goodness.
Crap. Throw all of that crap out the door.
Yeah. but totally see what you're saying there. And really, to me, I think that's the common denominator with all this is Jerry Jones. And
he's the problem.
Yeah, you're not winning anything as long as he's the owner and general manager. I mean, he could sell you on this vision. I remember, have you heard of a reporter named Jane Slater? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Jane Slater, she was on the Jim Rome show a week or so ago, actually on Friday. And she was talking about how charming Jerry Jones is. Now look, Jerry Jones is the ultimate. Here's the thing. Jerry Jones is the ultimate businessman. He can sell you. I think she had said something like he could sell ice cream to an Eskimo or something like that. I mean, it's a pretty funny analogy.
Sunglasses to a blind man.
It was a
crocodile. Yeah,
it was a funny analogy that James Slater used, and she talked about how charming he is with the vision he can sell. Can't sell that anymore. Like, I mean, you could go in there, you can try to say, "Oh man, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year," but you have not made it to an NFC championship game since 1995. It is almost 30 years since you made it there. Sooner or later, you're going to have to make the changes, and with him being the common denominator, he's going to have to take a step back at some point.
Yep.
At some point. Now he can say this because, and what he says makes sense because look, he is the owner. Ultimately, if the GM or whoever is in charge of football there or the operations, they are going to have to come to him to make sure that he can write the checks. So he says, why not be the general manager if he is going to write the checks? Well, the thing with that is, just because you are around football, that doesn't necessarily mean you know football well. That's why you pay people who are tied into the scouting, who are tied into the day-to-day operations of the football team. That's why you hire them to do that. So you, as the owner, you can trust into those guys. And if they come to you with a suggestion, then you're probably going to do that because you're trusting that they are doing the best out there.
Here's one. And this is completely off sports topic. I own 2 hair salons. You think I'm in there doing hair?
And you have no, yeah.
And I have no hair.
Yeah.
There's your analogy for the day. I don't know. There you go.
So look, Cowboys fans, I know y'all think I am just a Cowboys hater, and well, frankly, I am kind of a Cowboy hater, but this is an objective view of what needs to happen with the team. You need to realize that Prescott is not that guy, and if you're going to keep him, you better make for damn sure that team is built around him. Because this round, the divisional round, that is the round where that will show up. If you have flaws on your team and you're facing a better team, which the 49ers have a better team, if you're facing a team like that, your quarterback has to be able to make up for those flaws. And Dak Prescott, time and time again, has not made up for those flaws.
And the unfortunate, and we'll move on after this one, but the unfortunate thing is like you said, they haven't been into the divisional play or championship playoff game.
Yeah, conference championship game.
The conference since 1995, right? They wouldn't have made it as far as they did if they didn't run into an inferior Tampa Bay team that was just absolutely lost on both sides of the football.
Yep. So
everybody started praising Dak. Oh, Dak's back. He did that to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That wasn't the true Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, because I mean, look, And a lot of people will give Tom Brady a lot of crap. Look, and I'm one of them. I think he needs to retire. But I'll be the first to tell you, he also wasn't playing his best football this year. And I don't think that's age. I mean, I get out there and play football with my kids, and yet I still make some crazy throws, and I still make some crazy plays. And yes, I know I'm playing against 14 and 15-year-olds, and I get that. But at the same time, I still feel like if you're playing at that level that Tom Brady's playing at, that, to me, that wasn't his best football. I still think he needs to retire, but that's not his best football.
So on that note, Patrick, we're going to talk about Brady and Aaron Rodgers here for a little bit. I'm not trying to spend too much time on there, but we just want
I ain't got nothing to say about it.
We just wanted to blast them for being drama kings because, Tom Brady, he's on his own podcast and he's dropping F-bombs because people, I guess, keep on asking him about what he's going to do. And Aaron Rodgers is doing what he normally does, talking about, I'm just going to go to press. I'm not going to play golf. And, I can still play at a MVP level. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Whether it's for Green Bay or whoever.
Yeah. So, okay, we get that. You can play on an MVP level. Tom Brady, he's going to do whatever he does. But again, if they are going to go to whatever the team is, so if it's going to be the Tennessee Titans, it's going to be the New York Jets, it's going to be the Patriots, if it's going to be the Raiders. Look, I mean, I'm just naming these teams because these are the teams that they have been linked. First of all, with Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have to trade for him because he's signed to $50 million per year with the Packers. So number one, who is willing to take that on? $50 million. Who's willing to take that on? Number one. Number two, how much are you willing to give up to bring Aaron Rodgers to the team? Number three, if you are going to make that trade, how much better are you? Because see, here's how I feel about this, Patrick. If you're the Packers right now, you're not winning anything with Aaron Rodgers right now. You're not. You didn't make the playoff with him. So if you can find somebody who is willing to give you, 2 first-round draft picks or the first and second round or whatever the case is, to go ahead and get them, because that's what he's going to go for, Patrick. That is what he's going to go for.
I give you $150.
Huh?
I give you $150.
Yeah, and he'll still be with the Packers. So again, but if somebody is willing to trade for him, obviously they're feeling they can win a title with him there. So they will make that move if you get, especially if you get a team with the Rams mentality of F them picks. So,
or that Tom Brady feel like everybody's like, oh yeah, we can trade for Aaron Rodgers and we'll win one next year because that's what happened to Tom Brady when he went to Tampa.
Yeah, and it's not always that. It's not always that impact, as we know. And another thing with Tom Brady, of course, he'll be willing. Now, Tom Brady's going to be a free agent, so he will probably do what he always does. Take less money for the chance to win the title because they know the team will have to build some things around him for him to get there. So, yeah, he is 45. He'll be 46 when he starts the season because I don't think he will retire. I think he will try to play again. But with that being said, even if he goes somewhere, what are you getting? Like, what difference is he making? There's too many good up and coming teams now. Is where I'm going with this. And if you're if you're in a situation like what the Seattle Seahawks are in, and they just said, screw it, you want Russell Wilson, Denver Broncos, you go ahead and you have them. Let me stockpile these draft picks, and we will just roll with Geno Smith, and then we'll be all right for the future. And if we find our quarterback of the future and continue to build the team around them, let's go. Let's get it.
And they weren't expecting to get what they got out of Geno Smith. Let's be completely honest.
No, absolutely not. But with Pete Carroll there, I'm sure Pete Carroll had a vision.
Great game plan for him.
We can still win games with this guy. Yeah, but you're right. No, you weren't expecting him to be an all-pro.
Not at all. But he was.
But what you did is you built for the future by getting all those draft picks, and that was the main thing you were looking for. If I'm the Packers and I can find that, yeah, I would trade Aaron Rodgers. I know people are going to try to say, "Oh, you going to trade Aaron Rodgers?" Absolutely. You're not winning with them. You are not doing anything with them. You had 2 chances when the Packers had the home field advantage the last couple of years. Aaron Rodgers was MVP those 2 years. You went out. You didn't make the Super Bowl. You didn't make the Super Bowl. Yeah, you didn't make the Super Bowl. You didn't even make the Super Bowl with those teams.
This year, get out of the wild card.
Yeah, this year, yeah, didn't even play the wild card. This year, you didn't even make the playoff with Aaron Rodgers there. So, yeah, if I'm the Packers, yeah, I see if I can get some things for Aaron Rodgers. If somebody is willing to take that contract on, get him. You got Jordan Love there. You drafted him first round anyway back in 2020. Go ahead and give him a shot. You might as well. You need to see what you have in him. So, yeah, to me, yeah.
You take a $5 bill.
Aaron. Kick rocks.
Yeah, you take a $5 bill. You staple that to his shirt and say, "You take this and his $50 million and get him out of my city."
So yeah, I would seriously think about that if I'm the Packers. And again, I know people, if they are watching this and looking at this, or they catch this later and they say, "Oh my God, I can't believe Charles and Patrick are saying trade Aaron Rodgers." Hell yes, I'm saying trade Aaron Rodgers. You're not winning
Tom Brady.
You're not winning anything with them.
Yeah.
What are you gonna keep him there? What, you gonna continue to do the status quo? You're gonna continue to deal with this drama queen antics over here, talking about, oh man, like his leadership, it's left to be desired. Yeah. So I mean,
and let's be completely honest about the agreements or the situation it was 4 years ago. He's not the same quarterback. He was a great quarterback 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Now,
I mean, he's still good, but he can still throw the ball. He can still spin it, but again, you're
the
not,
leadership has just been horrible.
Yeah, you're not. It's not working. It's not working anymore in Green Bay. He can put up these numbers, but it's not making a big difference in the win column, which is the most important column.
You know, what'd be funny though?
What's that?
Is if he does go to the Jets, and then he does go to Minnesota.
Hey, it's just funny because it's it's the same pattern that you saw with Brett Favre. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
and what's crazy is the exact same thing but they're all talking like he could go to the Jets. I'm sitting here going, wow, are we really going to be like right on the heels of Brett Favre? I mean, we're right at the year where Brett Favre left. We're right at we're talking about the same team that he's going to. He's going to play there in New York for 1 year, and he's going to go to Minnesota. He's going to beat the Green Bay Packers one time, and then he'll be like, the 5th quarterback to ever beat all the teams in the entire
in the league. Yeah,
what a hunk of crap. You know what I mean?
It's funny that the more things change, the more they stay the same. And the funny thing is, with Aaron Rodgers, you would think that he was kind of trying to get out of that Brett Favre shadow, but
and you know what hurts me the most?
Follow that to a T.
Yeah, you know what hurts me the most is I really like this guy. I really did not want him to have this conversation. I was hoping that we weren't ever going to, because man, we talked so highly of him years ago, and years ago. Highly, and I still want to. That's the crazy thing, is I still want to, because he's such a good quarterback, and he was such a leader when he took over that Packers team. And he got 1 ring, he deserves more. You know what I mean? But at the same time, man, it's like now it's just like, come on, dude. Either A, get out of the game, or B, get out of the game, dude. It's just
the drama, the drama that comes with him now, and also, I think people try to be apologetic for him, and you have to call a spade a spade. Mm-hmm. He stunk in these games. He was not good in the playoffs against the 49ers last year. He let opportunities slide when Brady threw 3 interceptions when they played the Buccaneers in that NFC Championship game. You have to call the spade a spade, a heart a heart. You cannot continue to to let Aaron Rodgers escape with any blame there. Can't. Because if you are the MVP, you want all those spoils, then you have to be willing to take all of the blame that comes with it too. And too many times I think people try to make excuses for him now, and that's not the case. You only scoring 10 points in playoff games. You have a win and in scenario against the Detroit Lions. We only come up with 16 points. You're not getting it done. Just it's simple. You're not getting it done. So Patrick, before we get out, man, Major League Baseball, they had an announcement about the Hall of Fame, and Scott Rowland is the only guy who was voted in. He will join Fred McGriff, who got in there. And what was that committee called? I don't know.
Technicality.
Yeah, what's this committee? The Contemporary Era Committee. There you go.
He found a loophole.
Yeah, so look, I like Fred McGriff when he played. I mean, he did, and I know you remember. I mean, he was with the Braves for those years, or a year or two, I think. But
all the time.
Yeah, you're gonna put on the Braves hats. And so, but those are the two people coming in. You know, I know we've had this conversation before, and then we'll say something quick and then get on out. But I know we've had this conversation before about these Hall of Fames, man. But the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, man, the more and more I look at them, and I know you kind of feel the same way, man, the more and more I just feel it's kind of a joke now. Like, I don't know, like, they just been kind of just done in by the steroid era. And you have these writers who are voting, and they all have their biases too. Like, it's supposed to be a pretty objective thing, but they have their biases. Oh, well, these guys won't get in because of the steroids. They won't get in because of this, or they won't get in because of that.
I'm a Yankees fan. I really didn't like when they lost to the Marlins, so I'm not.
Yeah, at that particular time, and so yeah. I don't know. It's just a bunch of crap to me, man. So like, I know it's one of those things people look at it as significant, but at the same time, like me, I'm just like, I don't know. I ain't get excited about it.
It's like all-star games and the Pro Bowls and all that stuff. I could care less anymore. I remember when it used to be fun. Now, home run derby, I'm like, we all know it's a corked bat and rubber balls. Please, I got better things to do than to sit there and watch an all-star game or a home run derby that really doesn't mean crap anymore. And I mean, in baseball, I think they still have it where it means, you know, who gets home field advantage in the AL and NL. But other than that, who gives a crap? Do away with it. Do away with the Hall of Fame. Do away with it. And this is where people really going to be like, holy crap, that's tradition, Patrick. And we all thought you were about tradition. Yeah, well, traditions changed because those are a bunch of crap. Hot crap. Nobody likes any of it. So do away with the All-Star games. Do away with the Pro Bowls. Do away with the Hall of Fame and make our lives better because nobody even cares anymore.
Yeah, it's not the same with the All-Star games and even the Hall of Fame. And again, the All-Star games, they actually competed back in the day. It actually meant something to be an All-Star, and you're matching yourself up against the league's best, literally the best that the league has to offer. And you're going out there, you're competing, you're actually playing defense. Now it's just exhibitions, and they're no more for skills competitions or whatever the event is, whether you're talking about the 3-point contest or the dunk contest in basketball. In baseball, like you said, the home run derby, that's the highlight. And so now it's just it's not good, man. It's not good.
If they brought it back and did it to the traditional way with a real bat and a real baseball, absolutely. Or if they did the 3-point shootout and then do a skills challenge, and it's like an all-day event, and you actually are actually competing and to get something out of it. Yeah, I'm all for it. But right now, oh look, he can dribble 3 balls with 2 hands. Way to go!
Well, hey man, we gotta get on out. So that will conclude this edition of the Breath of Fresh Air webcast. That is what we are breathing on for tonight. Y'all make sure y'all go to the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the Facebook page. Hopefully next week we will bring the shorties back. And then we've been talking about it. Both of us have been pretty busy on our end. So hopefully next week we can get those shorties in there and start getting some more of the content out there. Again, big year coming. Stay with us. Stay tuned, and you'll see the moves start to materialize. So until next week, everybody enjoy the games, enjoy the conference championship games, and we will see you next week. Take care.